everybody, I'm Lizzie.
I am Amelia.
And we are going on a mission trip to New York. So we just wanted to make a quick video, talk about it, talk about our hearts, our vision, our dreams, everything to do with this trip, and just kind of let you guys in on it and just kind of invite you to come along with us on this journey. I'm just gonna share a little bit of my heart. I'm in third year at BSSM, and this is my third time going on this trip. I went first year and second year, and now I get the opportunity of leading it. Being that this is my third time going, I feel like I have maybe a little bit of insight on what might happen and what we do and why I'm going for the third time. I mean, really the reason why, a big reason, is I just love New York City. I have since I was like, I don't know, the first time I saw the movie You've Got Mail, honestly. And always wanted to go at Christmas time. It was a dream of mine. Finally got to go for my birthday when I was 4 years ago, something like that. And it was amazing. And then getting to go on a missions trip has just been incredible. And every year I just fall more and more and more in love with the city. And this year I've even had the opportunity to go twice, and I'm about to go a third time as a part of my third year, which is just amazing. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and share a little bit about what we'll be doing, what the trip's gonna look like. We spend a lot of time with churches and with ministries in New York City and some in New Jersey, and a lot of it is just pouring in, serving where we can, and it's really amazing. Like, speaking from going 2 years in a row, like the things that you see happen, the breakthroughs that you see people get, the fact that you realize just how prophetic you are. We do a lot of prophetic ministry, just stuff like that within the churches, and just serving as best we can. Whatever they need is really the heart behind it, is we just want to do whatever they need, serve in any way they need, and it's beautiful, it's amazing, and I have such a huge heart for the church as a whole that it's such a great trip for me, because that's really where my heart is. So that's my little couple minute spiel. So it's your turn. Why did you choose this trip?
Okay, why I chose this trip. So for anyone who knows, before I came to BSSM, I did musical theater, and like, I absolutely adore New York City. I've only been one time, sadly. I have just such a big heart for creatives and just artists in that industry of like musical theater and film and fashion and media. And so for me, choosing New York City is like, what my heart is that the things and the breakthroughs that I've experienced, that the people in New York City would encounter that. And really just a big thing for me that is so important on my heart is identity. And I know that especially like in the arts, like it can be so easy to lose your identity in that. I just have such a big heart for seeing that come to New York City, and just loving on people of that city. Because like, I think even like when I first went to New York City, like I absolutely loved it, but I think even like the longer I've been away, like just my heart has like grown and grown and grown, like just more in love with it. And I know that that's a place where I'm going to be called into full time. And so yeah, even before I'm actually like living there, like it's really cool that I get to just so into the city and so into the people, and just just love on people. Yeah,
and that's a huge heart behind the trip, is to bring people that have a heart for the city, and especially people that, like you, that would eventually want to live there. It's a great way to get your feet wet and really experience the city, not just from a tourist perspective, which is what you get when you just go visit it, but from like a local perspective, from the perspective of the Lord, like his heart. That was a huge shift that I noticed for me when I went to New York in first year, was when I went for the first time as like a tourist just to visit the city. I fell in love with the city, but when I went on my missions trip the first time, I actually got a glimpse of God's heart for the city, and that was so huge. Like, I love the city, but I will never forget one of the most impactful moments in my first year trip was we were praying over this group of people, and I could feel God's heart for the city so much. Like, I felt it so deeply that I broke down and just started weeping, because I could feel it so strong, and I'd never felt that before. And honestly, never felt that for a city before in my life. And the same thing happened in second year. I felt it again, and I was like, there's something about the city that I just can't shake. And so I love that about this trip. One of the dreams and the heart behind it is to give people who have a desire to live there one day, but actually give them opportunity to kind of get their feet wet and see what that looks like from the perspective of like, okay, I'm going not just because it's an amazing city and I want to live here, but I actually feel called here by the Lord. And so that's a huge part of the trip, is to give people that opportunity to see that side of the city. Because when you go as a tourist, you just kind of go and you're like, it's New York,
so
which
cool.
is wonderful. I love it from that perspective, but when you get God's heart for it, it just like shifts everything, and it gives you a new vision and a new dream for the city than just like, oh, I'd love to live here and pursue musical theater or acting or something else, fashion,
photography,
anything. And I just love that about it. So what would you say is your dream? Like, what would you love to see happen on this trip?
I think specifically, like, for me, it's like, it really is like something with identity and having love encounters with the Father. I would love, like, whatever kind of like creative you are, or even if you're not, like, I just want to see people have love encounters, like this refinement of just like identity, almost just to see people like being so radically encountered that there's like this moment of like, oh my gosh, like that's what he believes about me, like, and actually seeing the heart of the Father towards them. Because I think so often people see, you know, or their view of God is that, you know, God's, you know, super judgmental or really harsh, and like not even realizing like, oh, like God actually has like really good thoughts about me. But yeah, just seeing just multitudes of people coming to know what the Father thinks about them and the identity that he has for them. And so, oh man, I don't know if that like was like a super great answer to that question or not, but I'm like,
yeah. And I think that's like an underlying theme a lot of times, in at least the last 2 years in the trip, is there's something about identity. I remember last year writing out like just my own, just some thoughts and what I felt like the Lord was saying over the trip. And he took me back to when I went in first year, and I remember driving into the city. I remember looking up and seeing this billboard that said, "Welcome to the City of Dreams." And I was like, that stuck with me. And I just remember seeing that, and the Lord saying like, that's what I say over this city. That's not just what people say, like that's my declaration over this city. And he brought me back to that moment, and then he just started speaking to me and was like, this city is the city where people come to make their dreams come true, but the Lord wants it to become a city where people go to make their dreams come true and they actually find out who they really are. Because a lot of people go looking for identity. They're going after their dreams and they essentially want to become someone. But God, his heart for them is that they would find their true identity, which is in him. And I feel like that's why it's like this underlying covert vision and heart behind every trip that is really what it is. And a lot of what we do when we go into the churches is we speak identity over these people, and we let them know like, yeah, we can give you these amazing prophetic words, and as they say at Bethel, read your mail. Like we can do that, but the reality is you can do it too, because I'm just hearing from the same God that you already know. So a lot of what we look to do in our heart is to give people tools and show them like, this is, yes, we can do this, but I'm the same as you. He's just as much inside of you as he is in me. And so that's, I think, a huge, for me at least, and I feel like just kind of overarching theme for the trip, especially when we're ministering in these churches, is if we can get them to see like, this is for everyone. It's not just for us because we went to Bethel. Like, it's for everyone. If we can impart that and give that to them and give them whatever, like serve them in any way we can, then they can actually go out and change the city. Because we could go out and do evangelism and all of that, and that's beautiful. But if we can get to the people who already know him and are going after him and want to see their city changed, then they can change the city because they're there on a regular basis. And so that's a huge reason why we go into the churches, and that's where our focus is, because they're the ones that are ultimately going to still be there after we leave, making a difference and impacting their city. And so that I think is a nice little snippet of New York City and what we feel in our hearts, and what we feel the Lord has at least spoken to us and laid on our hearts about this amazing city, this trip that we're gonna get to go on. So if something in you like jumped up, something came alive, something was sparked in you as we were talking, we would just invite you to partner with us as a team, like not just us two, but our whole team, all 25 of us. Partner with us, whether it's in prayer, whether you want to give financially, you can sow into her. We will post the donation links somewhere on the video.
Yeah.
Just know that if you are sewing into this trip, whether financially, whether in your prayers, whether in whatever way you do, you are sewing into New York City. Like, if you really think about it, what happens in New York City impacts the world. So, yeah, you're not just investing in 25 people getting to go spend 10 days in the city. You're investing in a city. You're investing in what the Lord is doing in that city. We're gonna say bye now. Thank you so much for watching this video.
Yes.
Have a great day.
Have a nice day. I can't talk.
Okay.
This is a great start to the video.
great
I mean, it's a great start. I want to go so bad. So.
And now she's going.
I'm here.